10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is June 14th, and we've got some news coming out of Eigenlayer, so let's get started there. So, Eigenlayer have been doing a big push recently on all the, Suriname was on Bankless, and there's been a whole lot of buzz about them. They finished their testing on Goerli, and they're moving on to mainnet, right? So today we got the news that Eigenlayer is thrilled to announce the deployment of Stage 1 Eigenlayer protocol on Ethereum mainnet. This marks a significant milestone in our mission to create a permissionless environment for innovation. So let's have a look at what this includes. So here there's a blog post, and this is Stage 1 of their launch, and there's got an overview of the guarded launch, protocol security and governance. It says Eigenlayer restaking has been deployed on the Ethereum mainnet at the following contract addresses, and then there's 2 contract addresses. It says to restake on mainnet, visit the Eigenlayer app, app.eigenlayer.xyz, and then there's some information there as well of how they were on Goerli. And Stage 1, the mainnet launch of Eigenlayer marks an important milestone in enabling restaking. Eigenlayer's next phase will include operators who will be responsible for performing validation tasks for actively validated services built on the Eigenlayer protocol. And in the third phase, the protocol will facilitate the launch of multiple AVSs, leveraging the robust foundation provided by Eigenlayer. So what's happening now in Stage 1? Let's see if there's any information here. It says guarded launch. In the interest of caution, with regards to protocol security, Eigenlayer is launching with restaking limits. So what are the limits? This is the following limits and conditions are in place. Within Liquid's restaking, there is a limit of 3,200 tokens that can be deposited for each supported asset. That is only a maximum of 3,200 STETH, 3,200 rETH, and 3,200 CBETH may be restaked. Within Liquid's restaking, there's a deposit limit of 32 tokens per user transaction. The creation of additional eigenpods will be paused once native restaking hits approximately 9,600 ETH. No restrictions have been placed on the number of validators that a user may link to a given eigenpod. There'll be a 7-day withdrawal delay that will serve as a security measure during the early stages of Eigenlayer mainnet to optimize for the safety of assets. This withdrawal lag, which is common in staking protocols, is required when AVS go live, as there is a lag to verify that activity associated with any AVS was completed successfully. So then there's protocol security, there's bug bounty of $2 million via MuneFi. They're aiming to go towards decentralization. They've got an initial state with multisigs. So there's a couple of different multisigs. There's an operations multisig, which is a 3 of 5. There's a pauser multisig, which is a 1 of 9 that can pause Eigenlayer functionality in emergency situations but holds no other powers. Then there's a community multisig, which is 9 of 13, composed of members of the Ethereum community. In normal circumstances, the signers of the community multisig will simply act as observers, receiving regular updates on the operations multisig transactions, including notifications of the operations multisig queuing new time-locked actions. In extraordinary circumstances, the community multisig can perform emergency actions, including immediately executing time-critical upgrades or replacing the operations multisig in the event of private key compromise. And then there's a contract address as well. And here are the people who are on the community multisig. We have Tim Baiko, who's the Ethereum Foundation, Victor Bunin, who's neutral, Omar Roy with Succinct, Brian Redford, who's with RISC0, Pramod Vishwanath, which is a witness chain, Swapnil Raj, who's with Nethermind, Dmitry Okhanov, who's with P2P, Tarun Chitra with Robot Ventures, Anna Rose, who's with ZK Validator, Curtis Spector, Electric Capital, Yuan Han Lee with Blockchain Capital, Ben Rodriguez with Coinbase Cloud, and Robert Pelaccia, sorry, horrible pronunciation, I know, with Figment Capital. And then there's the Executor multisig which has the automated role of executing functionality passed to it by either the operations or community multisig. So, go and give this blog post a read. There's some interesting information here, and then you can check out what's going on. However, if you are interested in restaking with Eigenlayer, right now the only thing you can do is deposit your LST, and you deposit your LST, and then they use that to do stuff. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So the limits for each of the 3 pools are 3,200 of those staked ETH. The LST, the Rocket pool, was filled up with 3,200 rETH. Lido staked Ether was filled up with 3,200 ST-ETH, and the Coinbase staked Ether was filled up by 3,200 as well. So now there's no more capacity to deposit your LSTs into the Eigenlayer platform until they somehow increase that, which I don't know when that's going to happen. But yeah, they've hit capacity already within a few hours. They've gotten over 10,300 ETH worth of security locked up, I guess is how they say it. So congrats, I guess. Stage 1 has been a huge success for Eigenlayer. So of course, people in trading really want to talk about it and try to figure out what's going on. So people started talking about it really quickly and kind of talking about what exactly is going on. How does it work? Mad Matt says we're going to be attacked by 90,000 airdrop hunters, but of course they've got a 3,200 ETH cap. It's already full, so I guess people were kind of airdrop hunting. I was going to do it, but I wasn't quick enough. And then so what's they're doing is that 3,200 rETH now is just sitting in their contract, and I think it's doing nothing right now, kind of like how Mad Matt says here. So they prefer to do nothing with 3,200 ETH rather than doing nothing with all the ETH. Yeah, so that's what's going on right now. So Not You says, so Eigenlayer added LSTs for no reason whatsoever, and Nosho says LSTs work just as well as doing nothing than validators. So yeah, I don't really know. Lame, he had some really interesting points, and I'm going to talk about Lame quite a bit actually. So Lame says, can someone give me a TLDR on why restaking LSTs is a thing? As a LST holder, I don't perform any duty, so what's my value in providing LSTs? And Nosho says, I think next they're going to add Penguin NFTs. And Nosho is really good form in this discussion. So what happens is, you add your LST and you get restaked points and blah blah blah. There's some metrics that you can kind of accrue value, and basically the only reason why people would be doing it is so they can get an airdrop. Although it got some really good discussion here. Like people were being kind of mean, but kind of funny mean, if that makes sense, not like cruel mean, and just we couldn't really understand why Eigenlayer was going this route. It just didn't make any sense. So Lame really wouldn't let go of it, and he says, why would they allow restaking if it does nothing? So I think he went into the Eigenlayer Discord and started asking some questions. Oh wait, where did it go? Oh wait, I'll have to just find it. Oh, here we go. So he was kind of disappointed. He's like, what's going on? Let me go back to them and figure out what's going on. So he says, what BS response is this? This is like one of those scam DM conversations where they want to trick you with technical terms, hoping you've got no clue about anything. So let's have a look at the screenshot from the Eigenlayer Discord that Mao got here. So, Lame, he changed his name. Lame says, can someone give me a TLDR on why staking LSTs is a thing? A validator restaking I can understand, as the validator can perform duties for Eigenlayer, but restaking LSTs does nothing. And then someone from the Eigenlayer team says, restaking involves the transfer of liquid staking tokens, LSDs, into Eigenlayer smart contracts. This process allows LST holders to restake their tokens such as ST-ETH, rETH, CB-ETH, and LS-ETH to provide crypto economic security for protocols other than Ethereum. By restaking the LSTs, holders can extend the security of their staked assets to additional applications on the network, thus aggregating and expanding the overall crypto economic security. And then Lame says, can you go into a little bit more detail exactly how me sending LST to Eigenlayer is allowing you to extend Ethereum security to other protocols? It's clear how it's done by me setting validator withdrawal address to Eigenlayer and performing duties But if I just provide my LST and do nothing, what is the value? LST sitting in the Eigenlayer contract does nothing. Thanks. So, Lame is actually absolutely right here by sending them your LST. It's not doing anything. There's no way that you can manipulate that to gain security, like, as far as I know, and as far as like some people smarter than I am are kind of poking holes in that as well. So no one really knows what's going on with that, So it's really interesting to see how that goes. So then the plan was that they allow delegation, which is not sure pulled up here. So you would stake your rETH and delegate to someone who performs some imaginary duty, and if they F it up, your rETH gets slashed. Yeah, it just wasn't like really. I don't know. People really couldn't figure out what they were trying to do with the LST stuff. So yeah, and then Lame he as well says that makes no sense. The added collateral is completely useless if the provider is not performing duties. Let's say I run a validator and restake on Eigenlayer, and 3,000 rETH is delegated to me. I don't care at all about those 3,000 rETH being burned if I mess up. I only care about my 32. How does this keep me more honest and therefore extend security? So yeah, like there was a whole lot of questions about how is it going to. I'm not sure saying I'm explaining how they want it to work. I'm not saying it makes any sense, but for what it's worth, delegated staking is pretty common. See centralized exchanges, Lidont, NodeSet. So yeah. Now let's have a look at some of the other things. So MadMat here was pointing out their use of multisigs. 3 of 5 multisig is not the most secure multisig. 3 of 19 is much more secure, which is good. But again, relying on multisigs is bottleneck for a protocol in terms of its decentralization. Of course, that's one of the criticisms of Rocket Pool as well, is that the ODAO is a multisig kind of, and they perform their duties and they vote based on those duties in a manner that kind of makes it look like a multisig, where there's 10 of 19 or something that needs to get through. But with this, Eigenlayer's definitely got a whole lot of multisigs there, so there's not any way, shape or form that they're immutable or anything like that at the moment. So there's a whole lot of people who I think are going to poke holes at that point for sure. And then there were screenshots already coming through from MadMat, just like a few minutes later, the Lido pool was already at 3,000 STETH. The Rocket pool, the rETH pool was at 120 rETH, and the Coinbase staked ETH pool was at 720. But of course now they're all full, so I guess maybe the Rocket pool came in last, but it's not like it wasn't a race or anything. It was literally just up to 3,200 rETH, so that is not that's not that much. Anyway, that's a whole lot of coverage of Eigenlayer here. Like I said, there's the stage 2 is when node operators are going to start getting interested in this, I think, because they will change their withdrawal addresses to Eigenlayer, and then they'll be performing duties on behalf of Eigenlayer on top of their Ethereum duties as well. So that will lead to some interesting stuff, I think. Okay, moving on and getting back to actual Rocket Pool stuff here. We had this update from Jasper, who says the most decentralized LST, of course rETH, is now live on Polygon Labs' zkEVM with the help of the Balancer team. Go try it out. Who knows, some incentives might be headed your way. Wink. So Jack here has information about the team at Balancer have launched their app on Polygon zkEVM. To get started, there are some initial pool rewards for rETH, with plenty more on the way. Expect to see some ECLPs from Hero Stable live soon for that next level staked ETH liquidity depth. So it looks like the IMC here as well might be providing some rewards as well for that. Like the intern is saying, can the IMC do something, please? So this is really great. rETH was the first LST to get onto zkSync's era, and now it's moving on to Polygon Labs' zkEVM as well. So this is absolutely wonderful. Of course, there's this idea that as rETH gets put into different layer 2s, the liquidity gets fragmented. I think a whole lot of those teams are working on kind of like making better bridges and making better communication between the different L2s. So hopefully those gaps can be bridged. But hey, if you are providing liquidity on Balancer for rETH, now you can go and do that on Polygon Labs zkEVM and get some extra rewards from that. Good stuff. Okay, next I wanted to cover this dashboard we have from Alphaday. Alphaday were grant recipients in the January grants round, and they made they submitted a grant to make this dashboard. The dashboard was to cover like a whole bunch of rocket pool stuff. So let's have a look at what the dashboard covers. So in one section we have news, where they pull articles that have the tag for rocket pool in there, I guess. So they pull stuff from Cointelegraph, the Define, Decrypt, a whole bunch of like some of the bigger news sources. It also has a chart of different the price points for the RPL token, and you can kind of like toggle between different time frames and see how the price has changed in that time. It tells you as well, like what it was like on certain candles on those days. And then at the top right over here, there's a section of Rocket Fuel where you can watch the latest episodes of Rocket Fuel. If you go further down, then there's a Rocket Pool Twitter list, which covers people. Let's see who's on that Twitter list. Can I see? No, I can't click on that. It seems like Darren is on there. Baked Ent is there. It seems like it might just be those two who are on that Twitter list, which is fine. Then there's a little widget here that shows you the TVL of Rocket Pool. There's Medium. This is the integration on the right over here. There's a integration with the Medium account for Rocket Pool. So this just has the bi-weekly updates there. And then it also has different podcasts that might or might not cover Rocket Pool. And there's information about like the forum posts as well. So this dashboard is kind of like a one-stop shop where you can kind of have a look and see what's going on in all these different places. There's some Reddit posts here as well, and a whole bunch of other stuff that you can have a look at. So if you are interested in checking out this dashboard, it's by Alphaday. It's their Rocket Pool board, so you can find that in the description below, or you can just go to alphaday.com and then navigate to the Rocket Pool board that you can have a look at. So good job, Alphaday. Okay, going back to Jasper now. Jasper had this tweet thread saying, last December, I predicted a massive outflow from Coinbase due to cbETH, ETH arbitrage and diversification to other LSTs. 2 months post withdrawals. Let's see who the big winners are in market share. Spoiler alert, it's rETH by Rocket Pool. So let's have a look what Jasper says over here. He says the Shanghai update occurred on April 12th this year. The LST market share the day before was as follows. So STETH was on 74%, cbETH was on 15.5%, rETH 5.8%, Frax 1.4%, OSETH 1%, and Anchoreth at 0.7% of market share for LSTs. Jasper says exactly 2 months later, in the cbETH, it's already down 25%, falling from 15.5% to 11.5%. STETH has actually gone up to 76%, which is a 2.2% increase in raw terms. rETH 1.4% increase, Frax 0.7% increase, OSETH minus 0.2%, Anchor minus 0.3%, and cbETH minus 4%. So Jasper goes on to say the combined 4.5% loss is almost perfectly balanced by the 4.3% gain, while STETH won in absolute terms, rETH with a 25% market share growth and Frax with 50% growth have blown it away in relative terms. But is the growth being sustained? And then Jasper, he says the prevailing trend is that cbETH is being burned, STETH is treading water, and rETH is surging. It's likely that the next 25% of cbETH burned will tilt even more favorably towards Rocket Pool's rETH. So I hope Jasper is right about that. He's got another tweet that he's sharing from before. Let's have a quick look at the deposit pool to see how the growth is going or not. And as you can see right here, we're starting to see the very first signs of that vertical update that we've had since Atlas, since April 5th, really, where things kind of just went vertical April 18th when Atlas happened. That's just starting to peter off right now. As you can see, the deposit pool is empty. We have space for 18,000 ETH in there pretty much. The queue is 122 mini pools of queue, which is there. And the interesting thing is that the daily time frame here for deposits into the smoothing pool have definitely slowed down. So on June 6th we had our first day in over a month that was less than 1,000 ETH deposit, and then on June 9th we had 817. On June 12th and 13th we had 2 days in a row of less than 1,000 ETH. In fact, on the 12th it was just 293 ETH was deposited into the deposit pool. The 14th was a nice bounce back up to 2,700 ETH, but that's definitely slowing down on the trajectory that we've had for the last 2 months. Since April 16th, we had 16,000, then 32, 23, 26, 40, 33, 30, 34, and now up to Wednesday of this week we've only had 6,000 ETH deposited. That's not to say we won't get a couple of mega deposits in the coming days, but there's definitely a slight slowdown in this vertical only chart that we've been seeing for the last couple of months. It's going to be really interesting to see how the price fluctuation of the Ethereum's ETH token and the RPL tokens, what kind of impact they have on how much ETH gets deposited into the deposit pool. But I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on that, and I'll let you know what I find out. Okay, moving on from that now. All that Invis loves making bots. A while ago Invis was making summary bot that would provide a summary of the different things that people were talking about in trading, and he turned it off because it was expensive to run, but Invis turned it back on again. So if you are interested in using the chat summarization bot, you can now use that and call the command and get a summary of the chat for the last period. It's really great. It gives you a really good idea of what's being covered and what's not being talked about, and you can definitely get a good idea of the kind of topics that people have been talking about. It's not 100% right, but it's getting better all the time. So like it tells you about how many messages have been summarized. It gives you bullet points to break down each topic. It's there's some discussion about the current state of the news media and the coverage of certain topics, including Donald Trump and UFOs. So it really does grab like this. There's mention of a rocket fuel raffle and potential prize pool for participants. So it's doing a really nice job now of getting a summary of what's being talked about in trading. So if you're away for a couple of hours, you can come run that command and you can get a nice update. Each request of running the bot costs around 5 cents, as you can see right there at the bottom of the screen. So if you would like to donate some money to Invis for creating this bot, just run the /donate command in trading or any other of the main channels, and you'll get information on how to send money to Invis. So Invis says, damn, it made a list smart as he programs it himself to do that. So that was really nice. It's a really, really great bot, and it's just one more great addition to the whole bunch of bots that Invis has made and that are used on Rocket Pool. Okay, next, moving forward, we had a user who had their mini pools dissolved. So Object says, so fun story. I know the node operator whose mini pools will get dissolved in 1.5 hours. I sent them DMs and pinged them twice. Instead of responding, they blocked me. So plain old SNG says, maybe you've been too aggressive. And Non-Fungible Yokum says, they maybe think you were trying to scam them. And then SNG says, with that profile picture. And then Object says, so if people in trading don't mind, just ping Aquitaine a few times. My pings won't go through anymore, but yours will. And Object says, I helped them set up their 2 mini pools weeks ago in support, and that's how I know it's them. So yeah, but let's Valdorf then tags them saying, hey friend, probably want to pay attention to Object so your funds don't get stuck. Can chat in support openly if you are wary of DM scamming. And people were kind of trying to reach out. So Yorick says, how does a mini pool dissolve? I've never managed to F up that way. I should know what a non-malicious user action can lead to that, but I don't. And Object says, so you're on the ODAO, you do the dissolving. Yeah, so what happens is like you send your ETH and you don't call, you set up your stake, but you don't call the stake function in time, and then it goes away. So Yorick says, just how does a user get themselves into that situation? I'm more shaky on that. They don't call stake to send the other 31 ETH to the Bacon chain within 14 days of the funds getting assigned, and that's kind of what happens. So then we got a message from Aquitaine after they'd been dissolved, saying, hi folks, I'm the DAppNode dude from earlier you all noticed with the dissolved mini pools. I'm an early adopter of the DAppNode rocket pool package, and I am solo validated running perfectly. I had a bunch of people here blocked because I get spam DMs from this Discord on a daily basis. I apologize for missing the obvious fire warning, but I'm going to be working with the DAppNode developers to tackle this, since it looks like it just went below the minimum stake. My regular monitoring didn't include that on me. And then he goes on to say, I should clarify, whenever I post in channel I get 1 to 2 DMs from scammers. I didn't see that you all were talking about me, and I'd posted on a different channel at the same time, so I assumed that's what it was. But obviously don't be like me. Fortunately, looks like I'll just be out the inconvenience of getting 32 ETH and going through the rescue process and then starting over. I'm not a noob and should have known better. My solo validator works great, and I figured if this is going fine, then it must be the mini pools, but of course my regular monitoring didn't include, do I have enough RPL, live and learn. So here the Aquitaine had an understanding of what they thought had happened. They thought that they didn't have enough RPL on their node to get the stake going. However, Patches came in and said basically that there's no way that just having the RPL in that position would stop you from staking at that point. Like, he'd already gone past the point where that would be the issue, and what would happen instead is that, you know, there was some other issue why the validator was dissolved. So Patches says that Aquitaine is misguided in assuming that he got dissolved because he didn't have enough RPL staked. That's not possible. It was more likely that he was dissolved because he tinkered with his execution client during pre-launch and SmartNode couldn't submit the stake transaction. So there was definitely some issues going on over there. So Aquitaine here says that it could be that I changed from Nethermind to Bisu and back again in that time. And Patches says that could be related. The Rocket Pool daemon submits transactions to the execution layer automatically to stake the mini pool, which would have launched it instead of letting it get dissolved. The contract definitely doesn't care about RPL stake amounts though. I'm looking at it now. So there was still some confusion there, but yeah. And then Aquitaine says that most will investigate and learn the rescue process. So that was that. Don't get your mini pools dissolved. It's just a waste of gas, and yeah, it's annoying. Okay, moving on. Trevor N says, holy crap, I can see every Grafana field on the Mac now, on iOS now. So a whole bunch of people have had issues with all the information rendering properly on their Grafana dashboards if they are on a Mac or using iOS. And Trevor N kind of figured out how to do it. So this got SNG really excited, saying, how do you do this? I still have random fields that are blacked out for some, but sometimes flash visible for a brief moment while scrolling. And then Trevor N says, run the Rocket Pool service config and change the Grafana to 9.5.1, and that's upgrading from 9.4.1. So you can, if you change the version in your config file, then you can update what Grafana looks like on your dashboard, which is really great because then you'll have everything running properly and it will be really good for you. So definitely try that if you are not if you're having issues with Grafana on your system. Okay, so I've covered Lidont and the vampire attack that people in the EVM Mavericks and Rocket Pool communities are kind of working on right now. So FinBob here was working with people like #Fuzzmaster and others, from the RP community and from the EVM community, EVM Mavericks community. And so they've got this front end now where you can swap your ST ETH for rETH, and at the same time you can stake it and you can start claiming rewards of the staking there, and you can start claiming rewards from like if you're having mini pools and stuff. So they really put together this really nice front end of what it might look like to use the Lidont front end, and they're keeping it really simple, and all the information is going to be right there. So if you're interested in checking out the progress, check out the vampire thread under trading, and you can follow along with what they're working on there. But they're doing some really cool stuff, so I thought I'd give them a shout out today, and I'm excited about seeing the platform live. Let me just have a quick look to see where we stand right now. Yeah, so they're doing just getting pull requests and like fixing up the stuff, and they're talking about how they'll get things launched and where they'll be hosted. It's really exciting. Okay, so I've got this cautionary tale from Donny Guy, who was really sad that they got their account drained. He says, my account got compromised and someone drained my rETH. They had 16 ETH worth of rETH there that got drained, which was really disappointing. And he says, is there any way that you can help me recover my funds? Pool insurance or something. It was a lot. This is my address. And he said they did it in 2 separate transactions where they drained everything. And he says, what is this? Mad Matt says, what's this approval here? And he thinks that's the website that has pulled up a contract. And he says, I think you signed a bad approval. And Donny Guy says, I think so too. I'm just trying to see if there's a way I can recover funds, whether it's insurance or somebody able to help. Sadly, Mad Matt, explained that there's no fund or insurance. And can you explain more about the faulty website so we don't it doesn't happen to anyone else? And he says it was a website called unistacks.org. Basically, the contract wallet option on the site wasn't actually to connect to your wallet. I didn't fully understand the tech and I got burned for it, so I hope anyone and everyone will read this and stay away. And then if you have a look at the Unistacks website, there there's a clone of Uniswap, and they tell you that you can stake your crypto with confidence, and it's powered by the Uniswap protocol. So there's a whole bunch of like red flags here, and Madman says the greed is strong. Don't be mad at you. It happens. Just stay here, learn, and come back stronger. Madman says I also lost a 6-figure amount. I know what it is. So this is really sad, and it's hard not to feel down, and Donny Guy's totally right, but please be careful. Divide out your wallets if you need to. Only have the crypto on that wallet that you are going to transact with that protocol, and no more than that. I guess if you were trying to stake your 16 ETH worth of rETH, then you would have done that regardless, right? But it's better to be careful, suspicious, cautious, ask people for advice, for help along the way, and people will be happy to help in the Rocket Pool Discord. But it's really sad when that happens. So here Dukey says, feel sorry for you, take care of your body and mind, eat well and sleep well, this damage will be repaired. So people saying, like Phil Cares here says, oh man, I feel so sorry for you. xmk.eth saying sorry for your loss. So people being really nice, but sadly there's nothing you can do in that situation, right? Like it's really sad. Okay, so next we got this new LST project that's launching that's really interesting. It's from Memeland, and they are having something called Stakeland set up through Memeland, and they've kind of like come out all guns blazing in their announcement here of what the protocol is. So it says Rocket Pool has changed the game as decentralized ETH staking protocol. Here's how Stakeland from Memeland is set to take the throne and revolutionize DeFi. Bonus, how Stakeland and Treasure Island are connected. So I guess they've got like some community of like 7,000 people who kind of like do stuff around memes and stuff, NFTs and whatnot, and they now bringing an LST to their community. And it says, this thread will cover the aim of Stakeland, liquidity, staking protocols, LST, the rise of LST protocols, Stakeland competition, Stakeland's edge, meme, treasure farming, and let's dive in. So at first glance, a bunch of people thought that they were going to fork Rocket Pool, but it seems like that might not be the case, and they're going to be running their own platform. But it's really funny because they're kind of modeling their structure around what Rocket Pool has done. In fact, they go as far as explaining it in one of these tweets over here about how you need 8 ETH plus 2.4 ETH worth of RPL, and then they go on to explain about how yeah, here look, if Stakeland matches Rocket Pool, only needing 8 ETH plus 2.4 ETH in RPL held as collateral to run the node. A meme would be used in the same way, which is the exact utility. You got RPL's Binance listing, so they're already kind of like pushing this idea that, you know, their meme token will get listed on Binance. Their meme token will increase in value as people buy more of the meme token to use it as a collateral. There's like some shady stuff going on here, but kind of like, you know, a Gary Gensler kind of like securities kind of way. You know, this team here is kind of promising returns, kind of how we test like alarm bell ringing way is what I mean. Anyway, here they say, like, investor scenario, you want to run a node for 10.4 ETH. What do? Option A, buy 2.4 ETH in RPL, stake it with 8 ETH and run a node and earn 14% commission. Option B, buy 2.4 ETH in meme, stake it with 8 ETH and run and earn 14% commission. Hold meme that has long-term Doge potential and utility. I don't know what potential utility Doge has, but hey, that's what they're kind of leaning into, right? They're leaning into the whole meme thing here. So, if it's something you're interested in, definitely like check it out. I'm welcoming decentralized LSTs to come. They even like said over here like that, you know, we've got a community of 7,000 people and we only need 5,000 passionate people to reach $1 billion protocol. And here they've got like this little meme, you know, painfully bullish. So yeah, I like that. It's just this really funny like Rocket Pool, not Rocket Pool kind of thing. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that and I'm going to see how they launch, but it's definitely got me curious. I'm not buying any meme, by the way. Okay, so moving on now, we're going to finish off the episode with some Raffle talk. Schifrin here is, of course, running the RPL client diversity.com website. He gives a summary of all the different prizes that are now coming into their raffle that's going to happen in the beginning of July, I presume. Schifrin says if you're a Rocket Pool node operator currently using gETH, you're passing up an incredible opportunity to seize around $4,000 worth of prizes. The idea is, you know, get off gETH, go to Bisu or Nethermind, get the POAPs into the raffle, win prizes. So the current prize pool here is around 64 ETH, 64 RPL, 0.4 ETH, 0.09 rETH, and then there's a nano and some NFTs as well. So there's 4 Rocketeer progenies and 2 Rocketeer Gen 1s. If you have a look at the website, like, you know, they're talking about how the percentages have already started shifting from, that data is not accurate. Schifrin is from June 4th. So I really want to see the new data now for the Rocket Pool client diversity. We've got I'm going to come back to that next. If we have a look at the community impact, so we've got a whole lot of people now who have migrated their execution layer client. We've got even more people who are already using a minority client there, and some of these prizes, you know, like the people that have donated, they've done a really wonderful job. Balin.eth has donated 10 RPL. Wow Such Meme donated 0.3 ETH, which is lovely. Rocket Scan donated 10 RPL. There's like a whole bunch of people here who've done like really nice donations. So, you know, their prize fund is going really nicely. So definitely switch your client or submit evidence that you're on the minority client to get those rewards. Here's a second POAP. You know, you'll be getting 3 POAPs as well. This one was made by Dr. Doofus. This is Ethereum Client Diversity ETH Health Ally, and it looks really great. Now moving on to my raffle, I've got the 200th episode raffle. We have currently 56 people who have entered the raffle. I am one of those people, and I will not count myself as a winner. So there's 55 people who are in the raffle. So that means that, you know, those people have a chance of winning. Now, what will they win? I put this poll up in trading earlier today. So I said, should the 200th episode raffle have fewer big prizes or more smaller prizes? And the vote was pretty much exactly 50-50 between, like, you know, 5 to 10 big prizes or 25 to 50 smaller prizes. If we have a look at the amounts that we have now, we've got, well, the prices changed a little bit today, but we have about $2,000 worth of RPL, and we've got about $275 of ETH here. So on Arbitrum as well, we've got over $200 of ETH as well. So it's about $2,500. So I was thinking, if we end up somewhere around $2,500 to $5,000, maybe we can have 5 to 10 prizes of $500 each, or maybe 25 to 50 prizes of $100 each. I think what I might do is have 2 big prizes of around $500 each, whether that's in ETH or RPL, and then the rest of them will be prizes of $100 that will go out to people that win. So just using the information that we've got right now, that will be around 20 prizes in total, including all the NFTs, or maybe 25 prizes. So if you have a look at this, there's 55 people who are in the raffle right now, and of that there's going to be maybe 20 to potentially 30 prizes. So the odds of you winning the raffle and winning maybe $100 or $500 are really high. It makes sense for you to buy the pot for $5 and get in line to win the raffle. So yeah, I don't know what you're waiting for. Anyway, thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.